Cancel.
Schweezy.
This is from KCTV. If your dog died, prove it to us. Olive Garden manager fired after time off rant. A Johnson County restaurant manager sent a harsh message to employees about taking time off and was subsequently fired. An Olive Garden media relations representative confirmed to KCTV5 a manager at the restaurant on 95th Street sent the below message to staffers. Our call-offs are occurring at a staggering rate. From now on, if you call off, you might as well go out and look for another job. We are no longer tolerating any excuse for calling off. If you're sick, you need to come prove it to us. If your dog died, you need to bring him in and prove it to us. If it's a family emergency, in quotations, and you can't say too bad, go work somewhere else. If you only want morning shifts, too bad, go work at the bank. If anyone from here on out calls out more than once, already a spelling error, in the next 30 days, you will not have a job. Do you know in my 11 and a half years at Darden, how many days I called off? 0. I came in sick. I got in a wreck literally on my way to work one time. Airbags went off and my car was totaled. But you know what? I made it to work on time. There are no more excuses. Us, collectively, as a management team, have had enough. If you don't want to work here, don't. It's as simple as that. If you're here and want to work, then work. No more complaining. That's how it's complainging about not being cut or not being able to leave early. You're in the restaurant business. Do you think I want to be here until midnight on Friday and Saturday? No, I'd much rather be at home with my husband and dog, going to the movies or seeing family. I don't. I'm dedicated to being here, as should you. No more excuses or complaints. I hope you choose to continue to work here, and I think we, management, make it as easy as we can on y'all. Thank you for your time, and thank you to those who come in every day on time and work hard. I wish there were more like you. Olive Garden manager message. Okay, and then Olive Garden had the corporate had to reply back. The restaurant representative stated, "We strive to provide a strong and caring, respectful work environment for our team members. This message is not aligned with our company's values. We can confirm we have parted ways with this manager." I'm gonna be honest. From where I
like that.
I really don't like that. But second, I know for a fact working in retail, I worked at McDonald's that was the only restaurant I worked in. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna work in restaurants. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. If they like that manager, it doesn't matter. If they like that manager's still there. They're gonna say they parted ways, but that manager's still there. Like, the manager could say the most racist, homophobic, like they could say shit so bad. They could pull a Kanye and just make Alex Jones go like, "What the fuck did you just say?" And shit like that. Like, they could say that. Like, that person's still gonna be there. The only way you get into management positions like that is like you don't have friends. Like, you're not the kind of person who has friends, and you lick assholes. That's what you do. You lick management assholes. That's how you move up in corporate worlds for the most part. I know a lot of friends are like, "Yeah, I worked hard." I'm like, "Yeah, you work at a normal place." Let's just point out, if you work at a normal place, you don't have to do that. If you work at most places, there's most places and normal places. Hard to find a normal place. Very easy to find a good. It's hard to find a good place. It's hard to find a normal place. I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I'm trying to say. There's good places. That's where you work. Where you're like, I just did my job well, and they gave me a promotion. That's called a good place, and that's why they're a good business. Then you have places like Olive Garden, and I bet you can't find that many people who've been there for long. It's always in like management or whatever, because they make people quit and stuff like that. And like this shit, like this, like I've never been the kind of person who'd like call out unless I really needed to, and that's it. And this is Olive Garden. If you told me, if I would say this, if you went up to everyone who's like eating at Olive Garden and just be like, "Hi, I've worked here 11 and a half years and I've never called out. I've just came in sick and everything." I'm like, I'm not eating at this Olive Garden anymore. That's fucking disgusting. Like, you're like, you encourage people to not, if they're sick, to come in. That's what you do. around food, and especially food. And it always seems like, you know, I can kind of get retail or whatever because like for some parts of it, and you can just try to be like, hey, let's not, you know, or whatever. And office jobs, I can see, you know, coming in a little sick too, because a lot of the office jobs, for the most part, is like you're not really around people much. Like I remember when I was working day jobs and it was just like in office jobs, I was not as sick as I always got like a really bad cold summer and went like not summer, fall and spring, and it was like when the big weather changes, you know. Like I would always get like a nasty cold. And this year, you know, I've been doing more live shows and stuff like that, going like starting to force myself to do that more. Like I just, you know, 2 weeks ago, I was like dead. I was like, I haven't felt this sick in years. But yeah, no, I don't want people calling in sick. If your dog died, bring your fucking dead dog into a fucking restaurant. Let's not forget the man who brought a dead raccoon into motherfucking McDonald's. Fuck it, we're playing that video.
This nigga done brung a dead raccoon into motherfucking McDonald's. Look at this shit. That motherfucker dead in the motherfucker. This nigga got rabies like a motherfucker. This motherfucker crazy. They ain't gonna bring it in there where the food at. Nigga, you so motherfucking stupid. Look at this shit. This motherfucker put the raccoon on the table. It's on the table? He come look. This motherfucker got him on the table, bruh. And he getting up leaving now. Look at this shit. Look, he leaving now. Look at this motherfucker. Wow, this motherfucker bring a dead ass raccoon into McDonald's. This nigga crazy, boy. I tell you, only in San Francisco. Only in motherfucking San Francisco. Nigga try to come get him something to eat before he go to work. Look at this bullshit.
And you know, that McDonald's, they had to close down for a few days. To disinfect the place. What this manager is wanting is for employees to bring in a dead dog into their restaurant. And health code would say, like, yeah, you guys got to shut down for a few days. And guess what? A lot of those managers, very few restaurant managers are on a salary. So that means no one's getting paid for a few days. That's worse. It's just one person. And, you know, and overall, I would just say, for the most part, if, you know, and I have a friend who's like a manager at like a gas station, and what I'll say that is like, if someone calls out too much, like, there's a clear sign there. There's something there that they need to work on, or unless it's like a day of the week they need off, they just like really should just like, hey, I really need this day of the week off, and they keep scheduling on that day. I'm like, the restaurant needs to know, like, hey, you can't, that guy's not working this day. You could call him and see, like, hey, you want to come in, but expect him to say no and stuff like that. It's just, that's how you do management. That's how you do it. And then, but for the most part, like, yeah, people are going to call out. If they do it excessively, yeah, you have to be aware of it. That's the only kind of like point system I get. Like even being late, you know, there's people who are just like fucking assholes. But like if you live in a big city, it's like you can't control traffic. You know, you can't control if there's like a standstill in traffic and you're an hour late to work. Like you can't control that. But like, you know, calling out, that's where I think the point system works. Where it's like, hey, like I can gather a point or a half a point or whatever here. Just that's why you save them for when you actually need them. That's my recommendation for all of you. But like if they're like doing this shit, maybe hire better employees. And if better employees don't want to work for you, that means you need to get new management. Which I 100% doubt they actually fired this bitch who was doing this shit. I just 100% believe it. That's just who. That's
Let's go full throttle. Feel like a woman, a real woman.
First of all, ride or die, bitch.
This is the type of guy you get.
We found it. We found it at the end. Don't worry. Hey there, you just checked out a highlight from Cancel Schweezy. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you learned something and that you are now a smarter individual. Just so you know, we have full episodes and other many highlights available now. Click here for the next best thing that you can go check out as well. And make sure you press that subscribe button and press that notification bell. That way you get updated anytime we make a new post or anytime that we make a new highlight or full episode. So thank you, honk if you love butt drugs, and stay awesome.